Hey coach, let's talk about working with the Facebook algorithm. So given that we're doing all of our posting on Facebook and we're utilizing the Facebook features to try and get reach on our posts so that we can engage and create those leads so that we can nurture them and turn them into paying clients, it's key that we understand what the Facebook algorithm is, how it works, and how we can work with it to get it to maximize the reach that we're going to get with our posts. So the Facebook algorithm's quite a complex system. It's designed to sort of rank and organize the content that all users see on their news feeds. In essence, it sort of determines what posts show up in somebody's feed and in what order. It's based on things like engagement, content type, and how new the content is. So this means that understanding how the algorithm works and how to work with it is crucial if you're going to ensure that your content reaches the right people and you maximize that visibility that you need. So the first thing you need to know is that Facebook prioritizes users of its platform who are active and encourage meaningful interactions through their content. So Facebook wants you to be on the platform, but it also wants its users to encourage others to be on the platform longer. Ultimately, that's the goal that they want. So if your content seems a little bit too spammy or it's overly sales driven, then the algorithm's probably going to detect that and it's going to limit the reach of your posts. It's not going to favor them. So you need to focus on consistency in your posting routine and quality content that sparks real conversations. You need to mix up the content types as well to keep the audience entertained and engaged. Facebook also wants to grow its audience, so you need to help them meet that goal too. So growing your audience is also really key, but you need to make sure it's done thoughtfully. Facebook rewards genuine connections, so it's best to use their friend suggestion feature when you're adding friends rather than just spamming and going into a group and selecting God knows how many hundreds of people and just going add. If you do that, then you're going to very quickly come up against Facebook's error, which is we don't think that you know this person. And when you start seeing that a few times, you are going down in their rankings of how good of a user you are. So it's going to damage your content reach if you're not careful. Now, the Facebook algorithm's constantly being changed. Now, there are people out there who will have you believe it's like voodoo and black magic. It's something that can't be tamed. It's something that nobody really truly understands. And that could be the case, but there are some key principles. There are some things that we do know, and these do tend to remain constant. So what we do know is that engagement and conversations are important. So posts that prompt real discussions amongst users rather than just quick reactions, we know that that works well with the algorithm. We know that video content works really well. Using Facebook's video features to upload a video, especially live video streaming, short form videos like Reels, anything that uses Facebook's own native video capability is something that tends to get some good reach, and Facebook likes you for using their features. And the reason that video is good is because it builds authority and builds relationships. It gets people to watch. People will watch a video and they'll be staring at a post longer than they would if it was a written post. So again, you are helping Facebook meet their goal of users being on the platform longer. Another thing is the consistency and the posting variety. So regularly posting diverse content. So don't just post quote, 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 quote all the time, or video. Facebook likes it when you mix it up, when you're doing videos, images, text, postcards. These things keep your feed fresh and it keeps it appealing, which is going to maintain the interest of your audience. And then another thing that the Facebook algorithm really likes is expanding your friend list. If you think about it, the more friends and followers that you have, the more eyes that are on your content. And the more eyes that are on your content, not only does that work for you when it comes to lead generation or conversations, but it also works for Facebook because the likelihood is there's more people looking at your content. And if it's good content, more people will stay on their platform for longer. So in essence, it's quite simple. The constants with the algorithm are all about Facebook wanting more people on their platform for longer. So if you can feed up content that does that and you can grow your network to get more eyes in front of your good quality content, you're going to be helping Facebook meet their goals. And as a reward, they're going to push your posts further afield. So it works for them and it works for you. So that's an overview of how to work with the Facebook algorithm. Now, there are some specific do's and don'ts, and I want you to pay close attention to these. You need to make sure you're doing the things that we should do and you're avoiding the things that are going to hurt your reach or displease the algorithm. In effect, you want to train it to like you and to favor your content, not to dislike you or flag you as a spammer. So let's take a look at some of the things you absolutely should be considering doing as best practice. So first of all, consistency of engaging content. So you want to post regularly, but you need to really ensure that the quality is good as well. So we've already looked at how to create good content. You need to make sure that all the content that you put out there is good. If it's crap content, then people aren't going to want to engage with it. And it doesn't matter how regularly you post crap, it's not going to get the engagement, and the Facebook algorithm's not going to be trained in the way to like you. The next thing you need to think about as well is mixing up your posts. So include videos, images, even live streams. Keep it fresh, keep it varied. The next do is to actively start conversations. So posts that ask thoughtful questions or share experiences, they're the ones that tend to get the most comments. Aim for sort of genuine discussions, in the comment section. All of these interactions that you're going to get, as long as they're more than sort of like 3 to 5 words, the comments that people are making, that is going to train the algorithm to understand that your content is valuable and it's interesting and it's creating conversations. In an ideal world, you're not just looking for likes or shares. What you're really looking for is people starting to comment so that you can reply back and you can have a conversation. The algorithm loves that stuff. The next thing that you should consider is create shareable content. So if your content is something that people like and going to share it, that's going to get it in front of yet more people. So it's not just your audience that get to see it, it's their audience as well. So if you can master creating content with insightful tips, stories, or something that's entertaining, it's going to increase the likelihood that somebody's going to share it. And shared content signals massive relevance to the algorithm, which is really going to improve your post reach. The next thing we should try and do is use the Facebook native tools. And by that, I mean try and use everything that Facebook puts in front of you when it comes to post creation. So you have stories, video, live video, postcards, literally any of Facebook's features that you can use. Try and mix that content up into your content posting. The algorithm tends to prioritize this variability in content. And when it comes to Facebook Live, that generates more engagement than regular posts. One of the reasons is that Facebook actually throws out a notification to all of your followers and friends the minute you go live. So a lot of people out of curiosity will just click on it and come and have a look. And again, that builds that deeper engagement, those deeper connections. So use as many of the different Facebook tools as possible. Another thing that's really important, engage with comments. So don't just drop your post, get loads of comments and bugger off and do nothing about it. Responding to comments massively boosts your post's visibility. The algorithm loves the fact that you've started a conversation. You're an active participant in that conversation. It's not just people leaving comments. You're going back to them and replying and digging further, asking questions. Engagement in conversations on your post is absolutely key to trying to get that engagement up. The next do that we need to try and do where possible is post when audience is around. So post when the audience is around. There's probably a large portion of your audience who is your ideal customer, your ideal lead. Now, if you can regionalize that, so for example, if you work only with the people in the UK or only with the people in America or only with people in, I don't know, Western Europe, then you can probably gauge when people are going to be active. Now, it's not an exact science. However, a lot of people tend to be active just before work, mid-morning, lunchtime, late afternoon, and in the evening. So if you think about different time zones of where your audience are, you can start playing about with posting at those different times. Because ultimately, if you post when your audience is active, it's going to be put on their feed. If you post and they're not active and they're not active for another 3 hours, there may be another few hundred people or a few thousand people that have posted since. And your post on their feed has probably got pushed down and pushed down and pushed down and might not even get visibility of some of your target audience. So there's power in knowing roughly when your audience is active, working out from a time zone perspective the best time to post during the day, and try and play about with posting those different times to see if you can get that boost on that initial engagement on your post. Because as soon as you start to get engagement on your post, you're telling the algorithm to listen to it and to push it out even further. And the last really important do is to grow audience organically. So what do I mean by grow organically? I mean, there has to be some action in there to try and grow your audience, right? So it's not completely organic, but I guess what we're saying is focus on adding those people who've got mutual connections, people who've got friends in common. Use the friend suggestions feature in Facebook. Grow your audience without being spammy. If you start adding loads and loads and loads of people where you've got no friends in common, before not too long, you're going to come across the error from Facebook saying, we don't think you know this person. And the more times that comes up, the more you're being flagged as somebody who's possibly salesy or spammy. And that is not going to do your future post reach any good whatsoever. So to quickly summarize the list of best practice do's: be consistent, be engaging, start conversations, create shareable content, use Facebook's native tools, engage with comments, post when your audience is active, and grow your audience organically. So there's a good list there of all of the things that you should be trying to do in order to train that algorithm to like you and to push your posts out there and give you the maximum reach. Now, as you'd expect, there's also a list of don't do these things that you should absolutely avoid. So let's take a quick look. So first on the list, and I'll go with red, don't be too salesy. So if the algorithm noticed that your posts are overly promotional, maybe you're posting, get my free product, get this, get that, I've just launched a new product. If you're just constantly going on about things that are generating sales or trying to generate sales, then those sorts of posts are going to get deprioritized by Facebook. So instead, what you need to do is focus on creating content that builds trust, start the conversations, build the intrigue, build the interest, and then sell in private. Something else that can quite often damage your posts: using too many external links. Now you see this quite often where people are just sharing links to blog posts, sharing links to YouTube videos. I mean, that's fine as a normal social media type activity. But when you're trying to generate audience engagement and you're trying to generate leads, the last thing in the world that you want to be doing is flagging the Facebook algorithm as a user who is trying to encourage other Facebook users off their platform. Think about it. Facebook want as many people on their platform for as long as possible. So people posting external links to other websites, other platforms, it's almost like they're waving them off. So don't be part of that. Don't use external links that take people away from the platform. Try to keep that to an absolute minimum. Let's say that you've got a free giveaway, a pre-PDF, something like that, or you've got a funnel page or a website that you want to share. Maybe you'd describe it in a post and then say, if anybody wants the link, let me know. And then somebody would comment or somebody would DM, and then you DM them the link. So you're not actually sending that external link within that post. So you're not hurting that post reach at all. Next thing we absolutely need to avoid is obvious engagement baiting. So you may have heard the term clickbait. So things like asking for likes, asking for shares or comments directly, like tag a friend, using a load of hashtags, follow Friday, all of those sorts of things. Facebook penalizes that activity. So you want the engagement to come naturally by providing content that's worth interacting with. Don't ask for it. That's not going to make you the algorithm's best friend. Next is one that I see a lot of people do. So what we need to do is we need to avoid over posting. So what is over posting? Posting too often can overwhelm your followers and it's going to reduce engagement. So focus on high quality posts, slightly less frequent, rather than churning out multiple posts in the same day. I've got a few friends and a few followers who I look at their content and they're posting 3, 4, 5 times a day. And what they seem to have forgotten is the fact that people get a bit of fatigue. It's like, I don't want to hear from you 5 times a day. I want different people's opinions. I want varied content. And what they also don't bear in mind as well is that when you multiple post in a day, the algorithm will concentrate on your most recent post and start trying to give it the reach. And it tries to give reach for anything up to 48 hours. So the first few hours is key. 24 hours, it's still giving some reach, and it just gives some beyond there if people are still engaging with that post. But a sure way to kill the reach and to stop the algorithm in its reach spreading tracks is to drop another post, because then it's going to ignore the previous post and it's now going to concentrate on this new post. So posting multiple times a day can not only build apathy in your audience and bore them, but it can also kill the reach of any previous posts on that same day. So it certainly is a less is more when it comes to a posting day anyway. Next thing we don't do is we don't ignore negative feedback. So by negative feedback, I mean if users are hiding your posts, blocking you, reporting your posts, if some of what you're posting is a little bit controversial and it's leading to other users taking action in order to stop seeing that content, then you really need to pay attention to that. That's valuable feedback. That's telling you need to adjust either some of your audience or you need to adjust what it is you're posting. Because ultimately, if you keep getting hidden, blocked, dropped, whatever it is that your users are doing, which they're taking exception to your content and then taking action, Facebook's going to learn that you are posting stuff that people don't want to see. So you're going to have the complete opposite effect of creating engaging content, and you are creating disengaging content. Disengaging content is going to make people spend less time on the platform. So you're completely contradicting what Facebook are trying to achieve. So absolutely do not ignore feedback you're getting. Sticking on a similar vein, so don't ignore Facebook group rules. So if you're active in other people's groups, normally when you join a Facebook group, you'll see a list of rules. Stick to the bloody rules. The last thing that you need is to be going against the rules and then kicked out of the group and then probably ostracized and blocked by certain people as well, maybe the admins. So getting kicked out of other people's groups is going to flag you as someone who breaks the rules, and this is going to hurt your reach. Something else you should absolutely not do is spam friend requests. So we've already covered this really, but what we're saying is avoid sending requests to people you don't know. And I know it sounds silly, we're trying to increase our network, but Facebook has a different definition of people you know. It assumes that if you've got one or more friends in common, the likelihood is that you do know them. If you've got no friends in common, and you're maybe even from a completely different country with no friends in common, it's going to assume with quite a reasonable amount of certainty that you don't know that person. And you're probably just trying to grow your audience in like a friend farming fashion. You're a spammer, you're somebody who's going to try and sell to lots of people. So growing your audience in a spammy way is not going to get you the results that you want. You are going to be penalized by the algorithm for that. And that's going to affect your post reach. And the final don't, and I'm going to highlight this because this is one of the big ones really that a lot of people make mistakes with. And this is something that's massively going to affect your reach. So don't post and ghost. So what do I mean by post and ghost? So you need to avoid simply posting without being active. So if you just literally go onto the platform, drop a post, bugger off again, or if you use auto posters, there's all sorts of software nowadays and systems where you can connect it to all your social media, set a date and a time, and it will just push that post for you. The downside is that Facebook's looking for you to be active. Now, you're not active if you're just dropping a post. It assumes that active means you're engaging with people, you're increasing your network size, you're having conversations, you're liking other people's posts. If you're just relying on an auto poster, or if you were just manually logging on yourself and dropping a post and going again, you are not doing what Facebook assumes is engagement on their platform. And if you're not engaging or growing, you are not attracting others to be on the platform longer, you're not helping Facebook meet its goals, your content is going to get deprioritized. So you may think automatically posting every day in the week is brilliant. You can use an auto poster to do that. To be honest, it would probably be more useful to log on just twice and post twice in that week if you spent half an hour before posting doing some activity and half an hour after. So you could probably spend just 2 hours in a week and 2 days that you post and get significantly more reach than you would by posting 7 times in that week from an auto poster. Something to think about, right? So there they are again. Don't be too sales heavy. Limit external links. Avoid obvious engagement baiting. Avoid over posting. Do not ignore negative feedback. Stick to rules in other people's groups. Don't spam friend requests. And don't just post and ghost or use auto posters. So we've looked there at some do's, we've looked at some don'ts. So there's lots of rules there around what we should and shouldn't do. Now all of this is in the worksheet against this lesson, so you can refer back to it as a quick reference guide. So what we're going to look at now is what I like to call the perfect process for posting to your profile. So if you follow this process on the days that you're posting to your profile, however many days that is, whether that's 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whenever you're posting to your profile, if you follow this process, which has a number of steps before posting and some steps afterwards, it's going to maximize the reach that the algorithm gives you. You are providing the algorithm with exactly what it's looking for. You are working with the algorithm. You're giving it what it wants. So let's take a quick look. So it's a 7-step process. It's worth bearing in mind as well that this is for posting to your profile. This does not include stories. This is things you post on your feed on your profile. It's not things that you post in your group. It's not posting in other people's groups. It is just content you're posting to your profile. So the first step, number 1, bear in mind, and I'm just going to give it away here, this is where we're actually going to post. Okay, that's where we post. So there's a few things that we do beforehand. And the first thing that you want to do is clear out old requests sent. So you're going to be growing your audience. You're going to be sending friend requests out to people, right? It's part of the strategy. It's part of getting more eyes in front of your content. You need to grow your audience. Now, if you've sent, say, 10 friend requests out one day, and then you go and look at your sent friend requests, and there's still 9 sitting there, what's that telling the algorithm? Well, it's telling the algorithm that you're not very popular, isn't it? It's telling the algorithm that people don't really want to add you. So one of the key things that you should be doing on any day that you post is go in and clear out any requests that you have sent out that have not been accepted. Now, I know it seems a little bit cold and harsh, but somebody who's had 24 hours to decide whether they're accepting or refusing your request is probably long enough. Get over it, move on, send it to somebody else. So each day that you're posting onto your profile, go in first and look at any friend requests that you've sent out that have not been accepted and then remove them. Now, I do want to point out that the inverse of that, so friend requests that have been sent to you that you have not accepted, let's say it's loads of sales and marketing people or people that you just don't even know, you don't want to accept them. Do not clear them out. Think about it as a seesaw. On one side of the seesaw, you've got loads of people who want to be your friend. And on the other side of the seesaw, you've got hardly anybody who's not accepted your friend request because you've cleared them out. What does that tell the algorithm? Well, it says that you're really popular because you've not got many outstanding requests and you've got loads of people who want to be your friend. Now, if you've cleared out all of these requests that you don't want, but you've left loads of requests you've sent out that haven't been accepted, that's telling the algorithm the complete opposite. It's saying that you are someone who's desperate to be friends with people, but nobody's sending you any requests. So it will look at the outstanding requests in both of those pools. So it's really important that you clear out the requests you have sent out that have not been accepted every day, but leave requests that have come into you for friend requests, if you want to accept some, great, but the ones that you don't want to accept, don't delete them, just leave them there stacking up. It will work in your favor. So you do that first, and then the second thing that you do is you send a new batch. So you send out new requests. So ideally, around about 10 people. So you want to be sending these to people, as we've already mentioned, people who are your ideal audience and who have got at least one mutual friend. So you will find these in the friend suggestions. You will find these in groups of similar people. You will find these quite often in friends lists. So you could actually go into some of your friends if they've left their friends open and start looking down there to see if there's a few people that you might want to add who are your target audience. So try and keep it a reasonably close-knit friend adding, but do try on posting days add sort of 10, maybe even anything up to 20, but do not go over 20 in any day. The third action that you need to do is in other words, reciprocate. And ideally, it needs to be 2 posts for times 10 people. Let's say you post some content and you get quite a few likes, you get a few comments. Obviously, you're going to comment on the comments that you've had. You're going to reply to those. But what about the likes? What about the emotions that you've had on that post from other people? In an ideal world, you're looking who has liked and probably going onto their profile and having a look at a couple of their posts. Maybe like, maybe comment. Reciprocation is all about engaging on other people's posts. Now, firstly, it's to show the Facebook algorithm that you are active and you are genuinely interested in other people's content and trying to get them to spend more time on their platform. But the second thing that it does is it's a great way of prodding and poking certain people to say, oh, I've just commented on your post, go and have a look what I've posted recently, without actually saying those words. So it's particularly powerful. Let's say that you've just added somebody new, you've sent out a new friend request and they've accepted. Something that's really useful to do is if you're just about to post, what you might want to then do is go onto their profile, select a couple of their posts, maybe the most recent, then maybe one about 3 or 4 down, make a comment on it, like it, and 9 times out of 10, that person will visit your profile and do something similar. Now, it might be authentic, it might be inauthentic, but at the end of the day, it's giving the Facebook algorithm what it wants, which is two people engaging with each other's posts. And that is going to help your post reach. So these 3 steps, then we've got that step, another step there, and then that. So these 3 steps are all known as warming the algorithm. So we're prepping the algorithm for the fact that we're just about to post. Then we drop our post, and then we stick around. And whilst we're sticking around, there's a few things that we can do. The first thing that I suggest that you do is milk posts. And these are previous posts. So what do we mean by milk posts? Obviously, there's no udders, there's no cows. Milking your previous posts is all about making sure there's no loose ends, making sure there are no comments that have not been replied to by you, and looking out for any opportunities to then DM chat with somebody who is engaged with your post. So that's milking. The next thing that we look at is engaging. So what do we do with engagement? And this is the last part of this process. So you've got warming, post, milk, engage. So within engagement, what do we do to stay active on the platform after we've posted? One of the first things we need to do is to be looking out to reply to any comments on this new post. So we've just dropped a new post. So has anybody commented on it? Because we might need to reply. So we can spend some time replying to those comments. And then the final thing that we're going to be looking out for is any other DM chat opportunity. So have we created posts on previous days where someone's commented and we could start that as a DM chat? Have we posted in other groups? Have we posted in our Facebook group? Is there any other opportunity to start a chat with somebody that we've not already tried? It doesn't just need to be on the most recent post or the immediate previous post. It can be on any of the posts. It can be in a group, our group, other people's groups. So what you're doing is looking for any opportunity to start a conversation with somebody. So those are the 7 steps that you should take for the perfect posting process when you're posting to your profile. Clear out any friend requests that you've sent that have not been accepted. Send 10 new requests or 10 to 20 new requests, certainly no more than 20. Reciprocate at least 2 posts on 10 different friends' profiles. That's warming the algorithm up. Then you can post. Then you want to milk your previous posts, double check you've not left any loose ends, make sure that all comments have been replied to. Then go back and check the post that you've just recently posted. Are there any new comments on there that you can reply to? And then last of all, look for any opportunity to start new DM chats with anybody on any of your content, whether that is in your Facebook profile, your Facebook group, or other people's groups. Now, simply by following that posting process, you are clearly going to be on the platform a lot longer than just posting and ghosting. You're going to be on for probably about 20 minutes, half an hour before you post, and another 20 minutes, half an hour after. So that whole process of posting, even if you've pre-prepared that post, is probably going to take sort of 40 minutes to an hour. That's exactly what Facebook looks for. People who are active on their platform and engaging with others on their platform. So this is the perfect process for posting to your profile. So however many days you post, whether that's once a week, twice a week, 3, 4, 7 times a week, you need to be using this process so that you're warming up the algorithm, posting, milking your previous posts, and then engaging. That's going to get you some fantastic reach, and that's going to train the algorithm that you are the perfect user of the Facebook platform. All outlined for you in the info sheet that's attached to this training module. But just before I go, I want to leave you with one last thing. Tracking all those activities, all those things that you need to do can be a bit of a nightmare. And the thing is, we quite often have a list of things that we're going to do, but we never actually look, did we do all of it? Did we do 50% of it? Did we do 20% of it? What happens if we only do 20% of a particular action consistently for a week? What impact does that have on our reach? So we need to get really good, not only at posting and sticking to the rules, and not only just using the perfect posting process, but also tracking whether we are adhering to it fully and the impact of not doing. So what I've also created for you is a tracking sheet. This is a sheet that will work in Excel or Google Sheets. It's attached to this lesson, and it's a way of tracking day by day your stats to follow this particular process. So what are we actually tracking in the sheet? Well, we're going to be tracking just a little bit more than you need right now, but I would just say concentrate purely on the attract stuff within the sheet. And I'm going to show you the sheet in a minute. So as you can see, all the things that we've just been talking about, sending the friend requests, how many people are accepting, clearing out old friend requests, how many people have you accepted in your group, reciprocating, milking, warming up the algorithm, and then days that you've posted to your profile, your story, your own group, and other groups. So there's some KPIs around ideally what you should be doing. So I just want you to concentrate on the red ones for now. At this stage, until we've gone through how to convert people and gone further into the course, I just want you to concentrate on these red ones. So I'm sending at least 10 friend requests on any day that you're posting to your profile. So that's not 10 a day. That is 10 on every day you post. So if you only post twice a week and you follow this perfect posting process twice a week, you're adding 20 friends a week, 10 on each of those days. On posting days, I also want you to concentrate on going onto 10 different friends' feeds, engaging on a couple of their posts. I want you to concentrate on ideally trying to post 4 days a week to your profile and ideally 4 days a week to your group. But if you decide that that's not for you, you can post 3 days a week, you can post just 2 days a week, but 4 is a really good sweet spot. And don't forget, you've got the content planner for profile content, and I'm going to be giving you another content planner for the Facebook group. So it's going to tell you exactly what to post and when, and that is based around 4 days a week on each of those two areas. So the spreadsheet that's available to download against this lesson looks like this. And I know it looks a little bit daunting. Try not to be overwhelmed by it. What you're looking at really is a list of all of the things that you need to do. So in essence, this is your perfect post process. Sending friend requests, ideally getting them accepted, clearing out old friend requests. All of these are trackable. And if you look to the right on this sheet, so this is just a pretend month template. So let's say it's Monday the 1st, and I've sent 5 friend requests. I've had 2 accepted. I've cleared out 4 that were there. I've had 1 new person in my Facebook group, and I didn't get onto 10 different friends' profiles to reciprocate. I only did 6. I didn't milk my previous posts. I forgot to do that. And I was meant to post on my Facebook group today, but I also forgot to do that as well. So I've now tracked what has happened on that particular day. And what you'll notice is it starts to colorize this column. So this column's really useful because it's telling us, as per a day ratio of figures that we filled in and the ideal targets. So again, it knows that we should be sending 10 friend requests a day on a posting day. It knows that we should ideally be getting about 50% acceptance. Therefore, we should be clearing out 50% of them. In an ideal world, 1 or 2 people into our Facebook group and going on to 10 friends and reciprocating their posts. So it knows the targets, and based on the figures that we fill in, it's going to colorize them. If they're red, they're really bad. If they're green, they're good. So it's expecting 10, we only did 5, but let's say we pull it back and the following day, rather than just doing 10, we do 15. We've pulled it back, it's now green. On this day, if we do 7 instead of the 5, we've not pulled it back completely, but we're getting closer. So the more green it is, the more on track we are. The redder it is, the less on track we are. So the beauty of using this to track your stats in this sheet is not only is it getting you to do the right things as per the perfect posting process, it's also giving you dynamic feedback on where your problem areas are. So what's our key problem really? We're clearly not reciprocating enough on other people's posts. We're not engaging in other people's posts because this is a red. What we are doing is sending quite a few friend requests out, which is great. So we're growing our audience, but we're not engaging with our existing audience. That's a problem. So again, as you start building up your stats and your tracking across the month, you're very much going to end up with something like this example here. So this is something that's been filled in for a few weeks. Okay, so you can see where the targets are. You can see on certain days, figures have been tracked. You can see certain days where I should have posted. So I should have posted on that day. And I've said no, 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 no. So I haven't done any posts. There's other days that I've posted, and I've posted on my stories as well. So you can see it's giving me this dynamic feedback. So I'm not doing brilliantly, but I'm not doing bad. I mean, greens and yellows is pretty good. Posting in other groups is probably the only thing that I've not been brilliant at. It's suggesting ideally that I should be doing sort of, what's my target? Let's have a quick look. Ideally 2 a week. And I've only done 3 in 3 weeks. So I'm trailing slightly behind that. And the great thing is that in the sheet that you can download, you've got your month templates, you've got your month example that's got some example figures in it that you can see there. So you can see what a completed sheet looks like. You've also got your content plans in there. So your Facebook profile content planner and your Facebook group content planner. They're in there to refer back to. And then I have worked out all the dates and the correct posting schedule for you for October, November, December 24, and even going into January, February, and March 25. So each one of these tabs is just ready to go, ready to adopt, ready to fill in as soon as you hit that month. So think of it almost like your own little accountability buddy. So tracking your KPIs and your stats, it's going to hold you to account. It's going to reinforce that perfect posting process. You're going to have to follow that because you're tracking it in the sheet. And then not only that, it's going to give you some dynamic insights on how well you're doing, how well you're adhering to it. Because we can quite often lose track. When we're doing quite a lot of posting activity or we're doing a lot of commenting, we can think, yeah, I've done quite well there. You know, I've not done bad. But this will tell you down to the figure whether you are tracking against the expected KPIs or not. And again, these KPIs have been worked out to give you in the early days the optimal reach you need. In other words, training the algorithm to really like you. So that's it. The overview of working with the Facebook algorithm, the do's, the don'ts, what it is we need to track, and then a tracking sheet that you can use as well. So the info worksheet is available as an attachment to this lesson, as is the template that's yours to download and start using straight away to try and give you some feedback on how well you're doing against that perfect posting process. So now not only have you been taught how to create really good, compelling content, you're now being taught the best way in which to get it out there, to work with the algorithm so that it works in your favor and gives you that maximum reach. So now let's go and do it the right way.